Hi, and welcome back to Temple Baptist Church Online Devotion. I'm glad that you're with me today. Today should be August the 4th, and I want to make you aware that beginning on Sunday and going through next Thursday, so Sunday, August the 7th, and then the 8th, 9th, 10th, and the 11th, here at Temple Baptist Church, we will be having revival services. I hope that if you don't have a church where you already attend, that you would consider coming and joining us here. We meet for church on Sundays at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., and then at 6 p.m. We meet for Wednesday nights at 7 p.m., but the revival services as well. We'll be having each night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And so we would love for you to come and join us for that. Last week I started looking at principles from Jude. Today we're going to be looking at the second principle from Jude. Jude is not very long. It's a small little book that sits between 3rd John and the book of Revelation. And here, what we're going to be looking at today is Jude and verse 1. Before we look at that particular verse, here in Poplar, Bluff, I'm sure that you've seen the signs for Circle Fiber. And those signs, as somebody signs up for Circle Fiber, the sign says, "I'm in the circle." They put that in your yard. Well, today we're not necessarily talking about being in a particular circle, but we are talking about being in the family of God. And the question that I'm asking today is, are you in the family? Are you in the family? That's the real question that every person needs to answer. Are they in the family of God? Jude knew that he was in the family of God. The family of God is established by Jesus and consists of all of those that have come to put their faith and trust in him. Their reliance for their salvation is upon Jesus alone. And they've chosen to not only follow, but as well to serve Jesus. Jude calls himself a bondservant, and we looked at that the other day. And his level of service had gotten to that point. Not everybody is at the place where they're ready to be a bondservant. But Jude certainly knew that he was in the family of God. And being in the family of God, he calls himself here in verse 1, the brother of James. Now, James here is the James that was the half-brother of Jesus. He's the one that later became one of the main leaders of the church in Jerusalem. So Jude is not just a man that is familiar with the church and has seen the church grow and start to become established, but he is a person that has a close relationship with the leadership of the church. And Jude shared his vision and his mission of the church, that same vision and mission that James had. He understood very well that the church was facing and how Satan was working against the church to try to tear it down. And so here we find that Jude, as a brother of James, probably prioritized his relationship with the church. Being in the family means not just that you attend church here and there, maybe once or twice a year. There are those that normally might only go at Christmas time or at Easter, but really being a member of the body of Christ means that you want to join the family and be involved in what the family is doing. And that is meeting with the family, the body of Christ, on a regular basis. And that means prioritizing the church. And so, are you in the family? Are you a believer in Jesus, first and foremost? And then, secondly, have you prioritized the church of Jesus and the family of God, just as Jude was prioritizing it in his own life, so that you could know for sure that you would be able to say, hey, those are my brothers, those are my sisters. We have a bond together that is cemented in our belief and our faith, our trust that's found in Jesus Christ alone for our salvation. Here's the second principle that I want you to get out of the book of Jude. That principle is that following Jesus as Lord makes you a member of his church and makes you responsible to be an active part of the body of Christ as a real brother who prioritizes the family of God and works to help fulfill the vision and the mission of the church. Let me read that to you again. Following Jesus as Lord makes you a member of his church and makes you responsible to be an active part of the body of Christ as a real brother who prioritizes the family of God and works to help fulfill the vision and mission of the church. You know, at Temple Baptist Church, we want to help you fulfill the mission and the vision that God has for you. I hope if you don't have a church family that you will come and join us here, and eventually that God would lead you to become part of what he is doing here at Temple Baptist Church. God bless you, and I hope that you'll join me next time for the third principle from the book of Jude.